Assalamu Alaikum guys, if you're new here, welcome. I'm specifically creating this video for you just to explain a little bit about myself, because I've recently had a couple of people who are just finding me new for the first time, who are also booking coaching sessions with me and kind of asking me certain questions, and I'm like, okay, you don't know me, and I guess that's why you're asking those questions. So I thought it would be useful to kind of create this video, reintroduce myself. Now if you're an oldie watching this video, that is cool too. So like I said, my name is Nafisa. My full name is Nafisa Akilu. I'm actually, although I look very young, I'm about to turn 35 in this year, 2025. Okay, so I'm squarely in my mid 30s, slowly going into my 40s. Life flies by. Yes, I'm born and partially raised in Nigeria. I moved to London, UK when I was about 8 years old. And ever since then, I have lived in London and still currently do live in London with my family. I have 2 children and married, alhamdulillah, after many years of searching, alhamdulillah, and many years of challenges, alhamdulillah. I was previously a teacher. I've taught both in primary schools and secondary schools as well, from maths and science and psychology, both in private and public schools. After a couple of years of that, after about a decade of that, I moved into this coaching industry. I am a certified relationship coach, and I also did my certification as a trauma-informed coach, and I have a degree in psychology as well. I think one of the questions that actually prompted me to make this video, one of the sisters, she was just like, okay, I really want something that does not compromise Islam, because I've met a couple of people, they say they wouldn't compromise Islam and then they did, and I was like, okay, she doesn't really know me so it'll be beneficial to create a video like this. I think those of you who are watching this video for the first time or are new here, I would encourage you to watch videos of me here on YouTube for like years. I think this is like my 8th year here on YouTube, so you can see the transition. I am really someone who really loves my deen. I love Islam, not just like as my religion. I'm born and raised a Muslim. I'm not a convert. I come from a lineage of Muslims, and I just love Islam as my way of life, and I'm really passionate about it. In fact, that's what brought me here on YouTube. I didn't come to YouTube to start a business or do anything. Not that I'm judging anyone else who is, but that just wasn't my story. I came here on YouTube to talk about deen at a time where most women were not talking about Islam, because that was something that I was most passionate about. And then I started kind of dabbling into relationship advice, and people really, found that to be very useful. So currently I have over 300 videos on my channel at the moment. So if you want to get to know me, just like pick a couple of videos from like random times, and you can get to know who I really am, get to understand more about my perspective and so on. But everything that I do, I try with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep it upon deen. I'm not really someone who's down with compromising my faith. Like, I am who I am. I'm not a perfect Muslim. Yeah, I'm not a perfect Muslim, but I'm very strong in what I believe in, and I don't shift when it comes to that. And I'm not willing to help anybody at the expense of my faith, and I don't compromise when it comes to things that relate to shirk. So any kind of healing practices that may relate to shirk and stuff, count me out. I'm not there. I 100% believe that everything we need is within our deen. Everything we need, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided for us, and Islam is sufficient for us. Right? Islam is sufficient for us. If you watch my old videos, I quote the Quran and Sunnah a lot because back then people were skeptical about, you would say something and they'll be like, where is your proof? So I would quote Hadith and Quran, because I really love having a close bond and a close relationship with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so you'll find that a lot of things that I do have an element of nasiha to them. And even till this day, even though I talk more about relationships and trauma, my intention is still the same. And I just feel like Allah's using me in a slightly more different way to impact the lives of others. But 100% the goal is still to Allah. So if you ever hire me or book me for any of my coaching programs, all I can say, with the permission of Allah, be rest assured that I'm not going to be sharing with you anything that goes outside of the scope of Islam. what else can I share? What do? I offer a number of coaching programs that relates to healing relational trauma. And then some people might just be like, what is relational trauma? It's trauma that happens in relationships, right? So it's how relationships can affect us in a way that may be traumatic to us. And you can't tell someone what is trauma for them, right? Because we all respond differently to the same situation. You may have two kids. You may have two kids who were raised in the same household, but they respond differently to what they were exposed to. So what is traumatic for every person is different. But relational trauma is really about relationship trauma and how that affects us and who we are and how we then show up in relationships. So essentially what I do is I help high achieving Muslim women. I help them to heal and I help them to have thriving relationships, right? And it's not that I can't help other women who are not quote unquote high achieving, but that's usually the type of women that I work with. They are also usually working women. They usually also are studying to be, to become somebody that works full times or maybe also part time, or they're women in leadership roles, or you may find them in career fields like nursing, teaching, whatever. It doesn't have to be a particular career, but most women that come into my practice and who work with me are also working women, right? So if you're a working woman, you're quite exposed to knowledge, you're into personal development. I'm huge on personal development, right? And so I work really well with women like that, because just their mindset for growth and what they want to achieve out of life is really, really amazing. So that is a bit about what I do. If you want to find out more about that, I will leave a link to my website in the description box down below. Also in the comment section down below, and in the about me area of my channel, you can click and read more about me, what I do, multiple ways that I can help. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any further questions you want to ask about me, drop it in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Assalamu Alaikum.